Hi guys, welcome back to Y'all Hearing This. My name is Kay. Thank you so much for coming and checking us out. I am very excited about getting into this. So every Tuesday I've been doing exploring K-pop lore videos. And this week we're going to look at I-dle. So I'm not sure if they have like an overarching like lore, or if these videos are more, because it seems to be based on different songs and MVs. So today we're going to look at Lion, Oh My God, and Hua, which I don't believe I've listened to Hua yet, but Lion and Oh My God I have. Lion I really loved, especially their performance on Queendom. That was a performance on Queendom, right? Yes. Yeah, it was their finale performance, I think. Anyway, really good. And I'm just interested in learning more about the kind of behinds, and Oh My God was the one that really made me fall in love with them too. So yeah, I'm just super excited. This is from Bookish Theories, who I really like her videos. I could listen to her voice for hours. So anyway, we'll start with Lion, and then we're going to Oh My God, and then Hua. So I'm excited. Let's go.
Hello and welcome back to Bookish Theories. In today's video I would like to talk about I-dle's latest single Lion, focusing on a little breakdown of the lyrics and the music video and on the true story that may have inspired the concept behind the song. Lion is probably I-dle's fiercest comeback to date. The song uses the lion as an imagery for the power and strength of a queen that cannot be tamed even by pain or love. The concept is very interesting because it mixes medieval and Renaissance religious art and African tribal imagery to convey the idea of two worlds that are coming together in the song. But what you may not have realized is that the narrative that they are portraying is actually based off of the true story of Joan of Arc. Now, for those of you who don't know who Joan of Arc is, Joan of Arc was a French heroine who lived in the 15th century. Joan started off as a peasant girl, but after claiming to have received prophetic visions by the Archangel Michael and other religious figures, she became one of the most successful commanders of the French army, to the point that she helped defeat the English in the 100 Years' War. In spite of her military prowess, when she was only 19 years old, she was captured by the English, accused of heresy and burned at the stake. But after her death, the Pope examined her case, absolved her and declared her a martyr. Right off the bat, this story should ring you a bell, because it's very similar to the one told in the opening VCR of the Queendom performance. In the video, we are told that men are fighting a war that has been going on for a very long time. But then, a young girl speaks up and declares herself queen. In contrast to the VCR, Joan of Arc never wanted to be queen, because she was not after power. She thought to be a servant of God, and she behaved accordingly. But besides this detail, the two stories match almost completely. When Joan's story begins, she's only 16 years old. She's a young girl with no education and no fortune, but she spoke up, and because of that, people started to follow her and be inspired by her. Despite Joan of Arc was a girl from the 15th century, her bravery and rebellion resonates quite loudly in today's cultural landscape. And I-dle are paying tribute to her by using her story as a canvas meant to empower girls and help them unleash their inner lion. The lion imagery here is not random at all. It's not just an easy metaphor for power or strength, but an actual historical reference to Joan of Arc, who was known to carry a banner on the battlefield. Now, this banner bore the image of God holding the world and surrounded by two angels. But some versions of the story actually depict a lion on the banner. The lion here is a metaphor for God's power and one of the symbolic animals of the Archangel Michael. So, if the girls actually made this connection on purpose, this implies that their queendom, as well as your own, has divine origins. This is very telling because the references don't stop here. So, let's take a look. At the beginning, Minnie opens by saying that she is a lion and a queen, and that not even pain can cage her. In the music video, this statement is mirrored by a shot of her on display in a museum surrounded by arrows. This could be seen as a reference to the historical nature of their concept and to Joan's experience on the battlefield, but also to the fact that Joan of Arc was actually wounded by 3 arrows while carrying the banner. On a metaphorical level, this implies that the power I-dle wants to unleash is seen as threatening, which is something they admit themselves later on. With So-yeon's scenes, things start to get interesting. In the video, she is portrayed behind bars and in a fit of rage. And if we see these visuals in relation to Joan of Arc, then these scenes symbolize her imprisonment and the frenzy connected to her prophetic visions. The lyrics here seem to confirm this as well. The first 2 lines mentioned a blue burning flower under the crimson sunfire, which sounds a bit obscure, doesn't it? But what if we see this as her having visions? Or, most importantly, what if I told you that the 2 symbols that she mentions are actually historically accurate? In the story, Joan of Arc receives visions from Michael, and Michael is the archangel of the sun. The sun here shines over a blue burning flower, and the Joan of Arc coat of arms was a sword, a crown, and 2 fleurs-de-lis, which, you guessed it, are blue flowers. If we see the girls as Joan of Arc in this scenario, here So-yeon is literally prophesying her own death. She is imprisoned, enraged, and while later on she says that she will create a path no one has ever done before, she talks about a blue flower burning. That's Joan of Arc literally going to war and burning at the stake, and So-yeon, who is having visions, is foreshadowing this while in prison. In the song, the girls talk about surrendering to music and being devoted to the dance of the lion. This is important because the dance of the lion literally symbolizes them embracing their strength and rebellion. In the music video, all the members embody some aspect of the Joan of Arc story. We have Minnie in a museum, and she represents the historical significance of her actions. So-yeon, on the other hand, is behind bars, and she portrays her visions and imprisonment. Soo-jin instead is wounded and surrounded by red and gold, so she symbolizes the noble nature of her mission and the strength of the lion. Mi-yeon is surrounded by weapons and fire, but she is also the center in the white setting. If we put her scenes together, the imagery associated to her represents the violence of war and her burning at the stake, but also a vision of her after death. This leads us to Uki, whose scenes mirror Mi-yeon's. Here she is portrayed with a golden halo, which is something that conveys her sanctity and purity. But then we see the halo on fire, and this shows us the double nature of Joan of Arc, and the reason why she was burned in the first place. Joan of Arc was a warrior and a prophet, so she threatened male supremacy both on the battlefield and in church, and that's why she was burned. Last but not least, we have Shua, who is literally going to war. Here, the dancers carry Roman shields, a symbol of the Church of Rome that Joan supported against the English power. As you can see here, these visuals are not random at all. They're telling you a story, Joan of Arc's story, which is the story of a girl like millions of us who had something to say and said it. As I mentioned earlier, she didn't want any crown or power. She didn't want to be queen, and she didn't see herself as a lion. But she was, because she rebelled and she fought. She spoke up and changed the world, which is what I-dle are inviting you to do in the song. They want you to awake the lion and become the queen of your own kingdom. They want you to be aware of your power and use it to create your own path to the throne of your life. So that's it from me today.
That was
I hope
awesome.
you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please think about
That makes me
liking
love the
and
song even
subscribing.
more.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
That's really cool.
Hello and welcome back to Bookish Theories. In today's video, I would like to talk about I-dle's Oh My God, focusing on a little breakdown and analysis of both the lyrics and the music video. Oh My God is a song that lived up to its title and left us all shook with its sound, visuals and storyline. Being the inclusive queens that they are, I-dle actually gave us a song about love, temptation and obsession addressed to a female recipient who is seducing them with their music. As we'll see in a second, this is an aspect that plays a very important role in a storyline already full of religious callbacks and references to the fairy tale tradition. But in order to make sense of all of that, the first thing that we need to do is to take a look at the teaser that came out right before the MV. Set in a medieval fantasy setting, the video introduced us to a story about love, salvation, and temptation that is told in the form of a prayer. In the teaser, the voiceover tells us that the girls were prisoners of their reason and that they wanted God to set them free through salvation. But now things are starting to change, because even if in the past they longed for divine love, now they don't need it anymore because they found a new love and they are no longer prisoners. Right off the bat, this is very interesting because the teaser here implies that if on the one hand this new love has taken them away from God and salvation, on the other it also set them free from their own reason. Even if at first they tried to escape this love and find salvation in God, the song shows us that the temptation is just too strong. And the result of them actually surrendering to temptation is ultimate freedom. You see, the point here is not so much that this forbidden love has changed them into something that they are not, but more like that this love freed them and allowed them to be whoever they truly are. And this idea is also confirmed in the concept photos, where we see that the white innocent version is a lie, while the black seductive one is their true form. In the story, we see the girls trying to fight temptation and eventually falling for it. But this fall, which in the video is depicted quite literally, also leads to a new birth. That is them starting a new phase of their life where they are free to be themselves. If you look closely throughout the video, we see some quick shots of Soyeon in a reddish environment. And judging by the way the video is shot, it almost looks like she's in a womb of some kind. This makes sense because the love that they're singing about is meant to bring a new beginning that, like any other birth, starts from blood and pain. But is this really a new beginning, or is it just an illusion? Is it true or is it a lie? Well, let's find out. At the beginning, the song opens with Minnie telling us that she ran into her lover's arms while her music was drawing her in. Right off the bat, this is very interesting because these lines are actually the exact opposite of what we see on screen. While Minnie sings about running into the girl's arms, in the video we actually see her being dragged away by two men. And this should tell you something because these two here are the only men that appear throughout the entire MV. If we consider that in this context the girls' prison is actually reason, this could imply that the girls are trapped into their own mind. Up to this point, their reason, which is symbolized by the two men, is still holding them back because they are still seeing this love as a danger. But the change has already begun because temptation is already starting to take over them. This idea is also confirmed in Soyeon's lines, where she asks for help because she's getting out of breath. Much like Minnie, Soyeon is initially portrayed in a white room, the symbol of their apparent innocence as well as their connection with divine love. But as the video progresses, we see both Minnie and Soyeon reaching for the door of feathers and the white being tainted by the black. Now, if you look closely, by the time Uki takes the stage, the settings of the video become more elaborate and colorful, and this, my friends, is no coincidence. As we'll see in a second, some of these colors are meant to convey different meanings and emotions. But the general point here is that their choice to open themselves up to temptation literally showed their true colors. As Uki and Miyeon say in the lyrics, the love that they are singing about is a dangerous one. It plays with them and it was able to destroy reason. But they allowed this process to happen. And this is because this love is also a source of enlightenment. The girl that is seducing them took them to the sky and showed them the stars. And whether we are talking about a spiritual awakening or a more physical one, the point is that even if this love destroyed their reason, it's also a medium of liberation and self-expression. Now, when it comes to Soojin, things start to get more interesting because in the story, she's the one who plays the role of the temptress. In contrast to the others who sing about being victims of temptation, Soojin is actually welcoming it, and the video shows us this by portraying her seducing Uki, Soyeon, and Shua, and actually holding the apple during the group shot. If we take a look at Soojin and Mion's scenes, moreover, this contrast is also conveyed through the setting and the colors. While Mion is on the throne and the shadows are below her, Soojin is surrounded by them and the blue of the background is much more vibrant and intense. On a general level, the color blue is usually used to convey peace, tranquility, and calm. But in this context, there's nothing peaceful about what's going on. So the colors that we see on screen become brighter and brighter because they represent the part of them that is being freed by the love that is awakening them. If white symbolizes the virtues and values that they are leaving behind, as well as the reason that is keeping them trapped, the colors represent the brightness and excitement of the emotions that they are feeling despite of that. But in Soyeon's lines, we get the sense that this process also implies a lot of pain and suffering. In her verse, Soyeon prays to God and questions why is he putting her through so much temptation. The lyrics here imply that at this point she's still trying to fight the love that is tearing her apart. But the temperance that God gave her has disappeared into a black hole. So the only thing that she can do now is surrender to temptation and pay the piper for her sins. Now these lines are actually very telling because Soyeon here is making a reference to the Pied Piper, a German fairy tale that revolves around the piper who arrives in town to get rid of the rats but takes the children away when the people refuse to pay him. By saying that she is ready to pay the piper, Soyeon here is basically taking full responsibility for what she's doing. Like Mion and Uki say, they know that this love is dangerous and that they can get burned. But the girl, that is, Soojin, is so beautiful that they cannot help but falling for her. Now, in the video, this downfall is portrayed
she really
in different
is
ways.
gorgeous.
While Uki cries tears of blood and both her and Mion literally fall into the darkness, Minnie actually dies from the poisoned apple that is held by Soojin. This is evident by the fact that their blood is black and that their lips are purple, a color that is usually associated with poison and that Soojin is wearing in her own scene. This here is an obvious callback to Snow White,
Oh, the Will
a
Smith
fairy tale that, as it
meme.
turns
That's
out,
funny.
is also referenced through the settings and once again through the use of color. You see, like Snow White was white as snow, black as coal, and red as blood, the video shows us these three colors engulfing the girls depending on the situation. In this context, white means purity and innocence, black is death and darkness, but red is both passion and blood. Life and death that come together to end a life in order to start a new one. If we take a closer look at the video, in Shua's scene we get the perfect representation of this concept. Much like Snow White, Shua is white as snow, black as coal, and with lips red as blood. But in her lyrics, she willingly surrounds herself with a purple scent, which means that she chooses to get poisoned by temptation and seal her downfall with a print of red love on her face. These lyrics basically imply that by kissing Soojin, which again represents the temptress, Shua is choosing to follow love instead of reason. And this idea is also confirmed by Soojin herself, who whispers the words Abimo Pectore when she seduces both Shua and Soyeon. Abimo Pectore is a Latin phrase that means from the bottom of my heart. And in the video it is almost used as an incantation, as a spell if you will, that is meant to destroy reason in favor of love. At this point the transformation is complete and Soojin is triumphant. Soyeon fell into temptation and paid the piper. Mion instead jumped into the abyss. Ugi got burned, Minnie killed herself with poison, and Shua chose to surround herself with the purple sand. But even if this suffering should bring them freedom, by the end of the video we get the sense that this epilogue is quite bittersweet. While Minnie sings the opening lines again, she's back in the White Room, but this time her hands are black, her lips are purple, and the words Abimo Pectore are tattooed on her cheek. If you look closely, this is the same spot where Soojin almost kissed Shua, and this implies that Soojin's love left a mark on the girls from which they can no longer recover. Even if now they are free from reason, they paid the price for their choice. And the result of that is them going from a prison of reason to a prison of love. So that's it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please
Seriously,
think
I
about
think
liking and subscribing.
B and I sat there
As
like,
always, thank you so much
when
for
we first
watching,
watched that video. It was so
I'll see you
good.
next time. Bye bye.
I've shown that to like so many people. I'm excited about this one. I have not watched this video. So when I do watch
Hello and welcome back to
this will be awesome.
Theories. In today's video, I would like to talk about I-dle's Wah, focusing on a little breakdown and analysis of the lyrics, the music video, and how the song might be connected to Oh My God. Wah is a song written and co-composed by Sion that explores the feelings of a person that experiences the ending of a relationship and tries to overcome the pain that they feel because of it. Now, in many respects, the song can be seen as a sequel of sorts to the events
I really
that
like
took
Yuki
place
with
in
that
Oh My
short hair.
God.
Cute.
If back in the Korean version, the girls fell into temptation and indulged in a love that eventually led them to their downfall, in the Japanese version of the song, we saw many elements that foreshadowed their rebirth that we see taking place in Wah.
Oh,
We
I
see the
didn't know
very
they
same
did a
bird
Japanese
nest,
version.
the same flowers, we see a transformation that is achieved through fire, and all of these symbols are meant to provide a sense of continuity that actually connects the two installments of the I series into a coherent narrative that will possibly continue in the future as well.
Oh,
If in Oh My God, their downfall was caused by
think they're
them
still doing
trusting the person that they loved, now the ending of this very same love is causing them to burn. But as we'll see in a second, this fire is not a destructive one, but rather a medium of awakening and rebirth that allows them to escape the cold that overcame them. Now, this idea is actually reinforced by the title itself, because in Korean, Wah is a word that has several different meanings. It can mean anger or fire, but also flower or bloom. So as you can see, the concept for this comeback is basically expressed through a very complex span, because the anger and the resentment that they feel is exactly what sparks the fire that will make them bloom again like a flower. This is why the second title of the song literally translates into Fire Flower. It's all about rebirth. It's about the process of finding the fire within yourself in order to bloom again into the person that a toxic love tried to destroy. And in the video, this concept is conveyed by portraying the girls in different locations that actually show us the evolution of their mindset. At the beginning, the video starts with a tree in the summer that slowly withers away as the seasons progressively lead us towards winter. When the snow eventually covers the landscape and the lake gets frozen by the cold, I-dle appears dressed in white and we see Soyeon holding a long braid that is connected to the tree. Now these visuals here immediately tell us that the environment that surrounds them reflects the emotions that the girls are feeling after the ending of their relationship. Since Soyeon is connected to the tree itself is a representation of her state of mind as well as of the consequences that this love has brought upon the girls. Much like what the lyrics tell us, this breakup has led them to feel as if time got frozen in the dead of winter and nothing is left besides the cruel wind and the deepening darkness. But right from the beginning, we get the sense that I-dle are not planning to indulge in this mindset much longer, because as soon as Uki takes the stage, she tells us that they want to break out from this endless season without promise. Now, this idea is also reinforced by the contrast between the landscape and the outfit, because even if Uki is still in winter, the red flowers on her dress and the umbrella that she's carrying imply their longing for spring as well as their wish to protect themselves from the cold. Like Uki and Sujin tell us, in order to stop their tears, they want to erase the scars created by this love and ignite a fire that will bring back the spring that they lost. But as Minnie shows us, this process is easier said than done, because even if in their mind they are in spring, their heart is still covered in snow. The tears are still falling and the girls are still suffering because of this love. So as Miyeon is running away from the winter, she also wishes for the snow to melt when the morning comes. As Shua tells us, however, the only way to melt this snow is to light up a fire inside of themselves, and this is exactly what happens next, because as we see the girls dancing in the snow, the lyrics also tell us that this fire has already started to burn. At this point, I-dle are beginning to bloom again, and even if they're still victims of the cold, the fire that was awakened by their heartbreak is helping them reclaim their identity and regain control over themselves. And this idea is perfectly conveyed in Soyeon's scene, where we see her in a bird nest while she is surrounded by a murder of crows. Now, the brief imagery here actually tells us a lot more than what it seems, because if on the one hand the nest implies that the girls are vulnerable and in need of a place of refuge from the winter, on the other the crows symbolize both death and change. I-dle here are literally trying to survive the cold that surrounds them, but their resolution to burn their resentment and settle their grudges actually allows them to get rid of this threat and trigger the change that will lead them to spring. Now, back in the Japanese version of Oh My God, this imagery was further explored by showing Soyeon with wings made of fire. And this symbolism heavily recalled the rebirth of the phoenix, who rises again from its own remains. Now, even if in What the Phoenix doesn't appear, this metaphor is still expressed in the lyrics, because after the girls tell us that they will not allow this love to change them, their memories turn into ashes and the girls bloom again like a bright flower. If back in Oh My God we saw the phoenix being born again from its ashes, now these very same ashes are giving birth to a flower made of fire. So as we see the spring blooming and Shua's hand being engulfed by the fire that saved them, we also see that the braid is now finally separated from the tree. By allowing the fire to burn their regrets, I-dle were able to cut ties with the past and reclaim the spring that they lost. So now the winter doesn't affect them anymore, because much like what we saw in Oh My God, their scars are now covered by the flowers that they themselves have become.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's it from me today.
I really like that one too.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please think about liking and subscribing. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
She's so cute. Like I said, I could literally just listen to her forever. That was cool. I definitely want to go check that video out. And also the Japanese version of Oh My God. I didn't realize that there even was one. So that's really cool. I like that they don't necessarily have like a lore, like a whole storyline, but that each video is like there's such a concept for it. And I know Soyeon is like really involved in making their music and their lyrics and things like that. So that's really cool. Are any of the other members? I can't remember. It's been a while since I've, watched a guide or anything like that. Actually, it's been a while since No, I did just check out one of their newest comeback, I think. But it's been a while since I've watched some stuff with them. But I really, really like them. I said this to B so many times when we were listening to different and new girl groups, like this female empowerment that is out there these days is so amazing to see. You know, I mean, growing up, yeah, okay, yes, we had the Spice Girls, we had Destiny's Child, we had things like that, but it's not, I don't feel like it's that same message that was like, that I feel is like very constant now, which is amazing. So yeah, I really love that that's been a change, and that, young girls now have that, because it's really important to see that and to see a lot of that and see these beautiful, strong women, talk about this, sing about this, make videos about this. So it's just really cool to see. They're one of my favorite groups for sure. I have too many to count now. But yeah, and we'll definitely do some more. There are another 3 or 4 videos like this, so we'll do some more another time. But yeah, I'm excited to continue my journey with I-dle. I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely leave me any suggestions you may have for different groups you want me to cover. And as always, a huge thank you for coming over here, supporting me on Patreon. It truly means the world to me that you do that. I couldn't do any of this without you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.